Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining NONI Goes on Tour. We are so excited to finally have rolled out our business purpose commercial channel, and we'll be talking about that today. If you'll notice, I have some notes here that we have paid out $1.2 million in NONI commissions to our brokers in the last 120 days, and that's been with TRID disclosures. Now we don't have that. We're going to close them faster and close a lot more of that business. So my question was, were you one of those brokers? So as you can see, we're going on tour with NONI, and she is not on a moped. She's on a Ducati because that's how fast we're going to be. So thank you for joining. My name is Elizabeth Schermelhorn. I have been in the business for quite some time. I started in the 90s. My love is to come alongside and train brokers, educate them, and also AEs. My love is the alternative markets, subprime, if you want to call it that. And now we bring you NONI, so I'm super excited. So my next screen is just, we put a beautiful business plan together for you at theLender. So we brought you a non-owner, no income, no reserve loan to 80 LTV. We have easy guidelines, virtually no paperwork to clutter your operations, right? Other than an appraisal with a 1007 to support rents and leases, there's really not a lot to that package. Rates are they're hundreds of basis points less than hard money. 5 3/4 on a 5/1 ARM interest only is what most of our borrowers qualify for, and that's with a 680 score. That's a pretty low score for a no income, no reserve loan in the 5s. No TRID disclosures, guys. This is what we're going to talk about today. No TRID disclosures, no rescission time, 5 to 14 day fundings. Order your appraisal with no intent to proceed. What? That's awesome. No 1003, just a Fannie 3.2 file, no employment, no income, and you get to fund loans in states that you're not licensed in. What else do we give you? We actually provide leads if you become a super NONI broker, and we pay for your appraisals at funding. We credit you for those appraisals on loan amounts of $500,000 and up. So this is a beautiful business plan for you. All right, so for those of you that join us for the first time, what is a NONI? And I know that we have some very large brokers and bankers that join us today from the East Coast, Midwest, so welcome. We're excited to have you. What is a NONI? So a NONI is just a simplified DSCR program, right? It's for 1 to 4 units. Quarter of 2020, we'll be bringing you up to 25 units. So we're super excited to bring that to the table. We're also talking about bringing fix and flip. So what we're trying to do is bring a channel where you can close loans faster and have a lot of real estate investment programs to offer your clients. So again, no income, no employment, no 4506T or transcripts, no tax returns. Awesome. You qualify just off the property cash flow and not the borrower's income. So that's awesome. You've got a NONI. If you take your interest-only tax and insurance payment, you divide that, right, by that mortgage payment, and you're either at 1% or you're not, and you qualify sometimes if you're not at that 1% DSCR. So it's the easiest non-QM loan in the marketplace, right? Closings in 5 days to 10 days, no waiting on ordering the appraisal, your rates are in the 5%, and you're not clogging your system with bank statements. So I want to make it clear. We're good at bank statements. We fund them every day, and we fund bank statement loans that others don't. So don't get me wrong, but today is all about NONI and going on tour and what she brings to the table for you, a great business plan. All right, so let's go through some key factors of what a NONI is. Right? It's a non-owner, no income for real estate investors. There's no reserves if you DSCR at 1% and are not a first-time investor. Right? Simplified DSCR. You qualify off subject rents or you don't. You qualify off interest-only tax and insurance and association if there's any. We use higher of 1007 or leases to qualify. So lots of people have Airbnb and VRBO properties. So we're going to qualify off those much higher rents. 80 LTV on purchases, rate and term, even on units. So we're not cutting you back to 70 and 75 like the competition. You can now make front and back end comp with our new business commercial process. 75% cash out, $2 million cash out. Our competition gets a little Quivery at like $500,000 or $300,000 in cash out. We go to $2 million. I just shared Airbnb and VRBO higher rents are okay on not on purchases, but on refis. No hits for LTVs or rates for cash out units. No impounds. This is huge. So you just have to let us know you don't want impounds on the loans. No 1003 required. No TRID disclosures. And then you're funding in tons of states that you're not licensed in. Snapshot, some of the things that I love about the NONI is you can actually have gift funds allowed, right? You'll see our rate sheet with 3 credit tiers, very easy. Loan amounts go to $3.5 million. We'll go to 80 LTV, and this product will let you go to 620 credit scores. So I want you to keep that in mind. There's no limit on number of finance properties, and we don't have a limit on how many loans we'll do for one borrower. We're requiring 3-year seasoning for BKs, foreclosures, mods, short sales. Watch those mods, guys, because sometimes the modification doesn't fall into a housing event. Send that modification agreement to your account executive and they can look at it. The terms are for 5-year ARMs and 30-year fixed. We offer soft prepays, which I'll go through. And then again, no reserves if you're not a first-time home buyer and you're not a first-time investor. And you do qualify at 1% DSCR. Okay, so here is a matrices that you can find on theLender.com, and you go to the NONI, you go to the NONI toolbox, and you'll find our matrices. So you can see that it's very simple to read. It's got 3 tiers of credit scores, loan amounts, no reserves, again, if you're DSCRing at 1%. So this is a great tool. It's got our guidelines on it. It's really easy to read. What I wanted to share is that we just recently with this NONI have opened up Jersey and Rhode Island where you actually can have a no prepay for a 75 bip hit to rate, and then I think there is a 1-point discount, so call your AE, but you do not have to do Jersey and Rhode Island loans in LLCs. You can now do them as an individual. So that's going to open up a lot of the East Coast for everybody. So wanted to bring that up and welcome Jersey. I know we got a big banker out there, so welcome. We're excited to teach you how to do NONIs. All right, let's talk about our prepayment penalty because our loans do have a 3-year hard prepay. This is a simple and easy sell. Okay, I don't want you to think about our prepayment penalty as a hard money where they have the yield maintenance prepayment penalties where they've promised their investors some huge return and then your borrower has to pay for it. Ours is simple. The borrower can prepay up to 20% per year. Our prepay, if you can read there, is 6 months interest on 80% of the original principal balance. So keep that in mind. Guys, this isn't a fix and flip product. I don't see any reason why an investor that's buying and holding and not flipping wouldn't be very happy with a 575. There's no reason to refi. If you want to keep them fluid, which we want to ask our investors, are they going to sell? You just sell them on the 1-year hard, 2-year soft. So they basically add a quarter to rate. So you're at a 599 on a 5-1 ARM if you DSCR, and you've covered your borrower. You've got a 3-year hard, but you've got a 1-year hard, but you can actually sell that property after 12 months. So that keeps them safe. All right, guys, so here is our rate sheet. It's the easiest DSCR rate sheet in the marketplace. I haven't seen one like this. So you've got your loan amount, no reserves, 3 FICOs. There's really no hits other than the 30-year fixed as a half added to rate, and most investors don't ask for a 30-year fixed. Remember that the no prepay in Rhode Island and New Jersey means that you are at a 1-point cost. Keep that in mind, or that loan has to be done in an LLC, special entity LLC. So keep that in mind for Rhode Island and New Jersey. Great rate sheet. Guys, if for some reason your rents don't meet that mortgage payment, and we'll go through a calculator, just realize that your rate could be higher. It could be somewhere in the high 6s to 7s, depending on your loan amount and your credit score, but you still have a loan, and it's a long-term loan at par to you, much cheaper than hard money. So here is a NONI calculator, which you can ask your account executive to send you so you can have on your desktop. If you simply look at what a NONI is about, it's know what your rents are. You look at your 1007. So your 1007 here on this deal, right? We've got a $525,000 loan amount. So you enter the rate of 5 3/4, right? We have an ARM. The IO term is 120, terms 360. Loan amount, 525. you need to know your taxes. Keep in mind, brokers, that it's important to ask because a lot of people have owned their properties for a long time and they're assessed at original value, so their taxes are going to be really low. So don't assume just because you got $1 million loan amount that you're not going to DSCR. Sometimes the taxes, because somebody's owned it over 20 years, are very low. Always remember to enter your insurance and HOA if it's a condo or a PUD. But basically, if you take a look at this calculator, it will tell you what the interest-only tax, insurance, and association payment is, and that's what your rent needs to be if you look at the second box. In this case, we had a $525 loan amount. The rents needed were $3,592.63 for a 1% DSCR, and our 1007 is $3,225. I mean, this is the bulk of your file. You just need to know what your rents are, right, before you order that appraisal so you don't waste time and money. And your 1007 needs to support that. If your rents happen to be higher on a cash out or a rate and term, then you just have to prove 2 months of those rents through bank statements. We will take the higher of the two, which some of our competition will not. All right, guys, so are you ready to tour with NONI? So NONI's new business commercial channel takes you to territories that you've never marketed or funded in. How cool is that? And you don't have to have NMLS licensing in those states. The business purpose channel also brings benefits to your broker compensation. What does that mean? That means that you can now charge on the front and also make a 1% YSP on the back, yield spread premium. It's been a while, right? So removing TRID, doing business purpose loans, allows you on these loans to make up to 5% total. But remember, you can make 1 on the back by raising that rate, and you can make a few points on the front. All right, so NONI is touring the USA. So you have a list of states here that you can do business in. Please make sure that you do your diligence, that you check with your own counsel, because here's the truth. I am only going to check that you are legitimate in your own state, and then it's up to you to check with your counsel on if you've met all your requirements to do business purpose loans out of state. But those are a lot of states. So if you're a California broker, if you're a Jersey broker, if you're in Maryland and you're licensed there and you happen to have an LLC that you put together in these states, I mean, sky's the limit, guys. This is going to open up your marketing, and all those calls that come in that you had to hand over to a buddy that was licensed there, you don't have to be. So this is growing our brokers' business tremendously. Our AEs here are super savvy. They can lead the way and teach you how to do these NONIs. And I'm watching brokers every day get approved under this business commercial process and filling out this broker package and going into a ton of states that they were never able to be in. Exciting stuff. All right, so here is a snapshot of the commercial business purpose broker application. That's your first step. Most of you have already done it, but there may be some newcomers on this call. So we want to get you approved as a commercial business purpose broker. You may say, hey, Liz, I already filled out a package for your standard TRID process, your non-QM loans, full doc, bank statements, ATR loans. I don't want to do this. Well, you've already seen all the benefits, right? Front and back end, faster, no TRID, and we'll go through that. So it's worth the effort. Guys, make sure that you get approved as a super NONI as quickly as possible. Brokers are getting free leads. They're also on their submissions if their loan amount is, again, $500,000 and over. You're actually going to get credit for that appraisal, and you'll get $200 off our fees. So please, today, if you can go on to theLender.com, you go to the NONI tab, there'll be a Super NONI tab. It's a few questions, and we just ask that you fund 3 non-QM loans with us a month. With our leads, you'll be able to do that, and you'll be able to keep that Super NONI status, get your appraisals for free, and get free leads. Okay, guys, so let's talk about how you're going to close NONIs in 5 to 7 days, because I know you're thinking, well, that's impossible. I beg to differ. I 100% believe that if we follow what our owners put together, and man, they put some serious work together for us on this submission form, but it says, here's your NONI submission requirements, right? Bare minimum here. But here's how to close a NONI in 5 to 7 days. So guys, remember, you don't need a 1003 anymore, right? So you fill out our business purpose submission. If you get that credit auth and this business purpose acknowledgement, you get everything put together for us. As soon as that loan comes in, it discloses same day. You get an approval within 20, most of our approvals are 24 hours, could be 48. You're ready to go. I mean, we're going to start getting that package ready for CTC and docs and funding. So if you want it, you can close in 5 to 7 days. I would say 10 to 14 is easy, and we'll talk a little bit more about some ideas on how you can get there if your processor is too busy. But let's make sure that you follow this process, and no, you can give us the bare minimum, but if you submit how to close a NONI in 5 to 7 days, if you submit this checklist, I promise you, you're closing loans in 5 to 7 days. When you see the commissions that I've been paying out, you'll be excited that you could have a paycheck in 5 to 7 days. So let's look at that. All right, so are you ready to go on tour with NONI? Because she's paying out some serious commissions. So here's a story about a California broker that becomes a business purpose commercial broker with us. He also takes the time to fill out the 10 questions and becomes a super NONI. He gets some free leads and free appraisals, right? So he gets a deal in Colorado, and he's not NMLS in Colorado. Colorado is on that list. So he submits a $2.1 million deal, 80 LTV rate and term. This guy was in a hard money loan, 700 score, DSCR at 1%, right? Because this is a big loan amount. How do you DSCR on a $2.1 million deal? The way you do it is with Airbnb rents. And this is not a purchase, it's a rate and term. So as long as you get me a 12-month history, then he met those rents. So on a $2.1 million deal, he got a 5.75 rate on a 5/1 ARM, interest only, and we've got a 2% commission at $42,000. That's not too shabby. And if that deal can get closed in 5 to 7 days, I mean, that's some nice cash flow. Here's another deal that we recently closed. $562,000 loan amount, 75 LTV purchase, 757 score. They did DSCR at 1%, 5.75, 5/1 ARM. The guy made almost $10,000 commission. 5 to 7 days, pretty impressive, guys. So here's a deal that came into our system, 6 condos for one borrower in Florida for a foreign national. We do foreign nationals, 65 LTV to $1 million loan amount. Okay, that's our max, which works, especially in Florida. So there were 6 $250,000 condos. We did 65 LTV cash out. We DSCR'd at 1%. Again, you'll notice over and over that our DSCR, because we qualify off interest only and our rates are so low, you DSCR at that 1%. So over and over, my scenarios show you that the 5 3/4 is not a bait and switch. It's not just some shiny object that gets you to submit a loan and then you've got a 6.875. 2% commission on this one. That was $5,000 per condo times 6. Guys, do the math. That was $30,000. One underwrite, right? So beautiful. All right, here's our next deal. 625 loan amount, 75 LTV rate and term, 694 score. Again, that did DSCR. We got that low rate in the 5s. Broker almost made $10,000, $8,500. California broker. Okay, guys, so the big question here is we've paid out $1.2 million in commissions, and that was not under new process, right? So what are you going to do to expand your marketing and your business into other states? Are you going to put a plan together? Are you going to become a super NONI with us, right? Is your processor too busy? Well, you should start thinking about finding a non-QM contract processor. You know, if your company allows it, if you're a small broker, it's happening constantly. Brokers are coming in, they're buried. I've suggested it. They've found some top-notch contract processors that understand non-QM. It's not 5 years ago. If your girls are too busy with agency and FHA, that might be an opportunity for you. So we're always thinking for you on how to put a nice business plan together so you can make more money. So guys, I kind of out of order, but it's okay. We got one more deal I want to tell you about. So loan amount was 1.8, right? 2 units, 70 LTV, 743 score, cash out almost 600 grand. If you look there, the borrower, the broker made 1% on that, so that was 18 grand. Exciting stuff. So I have a lot of scenarios to share, but I've taken up a lot of time. At this point, I don't want to go over, so I'd love for us to open up to questions. I want to remind all of you guys that this product is only for non-owners. It's not for primary residents, so do your diligence. If somebody's a first-time home buyer, sorry, we're not going to do that. If they don't own a primary home and they own rentals and it makes sense, we're going to do it. We're a make-sense lender. Remember that the cash out, guys, always has to be for business purpose, and we don't allow family renting these subject properties. So we can't have these be owner-occ or family members in these properties. Keep that in mind. No second homes allowed. So that was a lot of cleanup. By the way, I'm sure we have some competitors on the phone. I want to let you know that Mike McCarthy and I are hiring account executives. We are paying 50 bips from $1. We have a ton of AEs here that are hitting some very large double-digit numbers. We would love to have you come on board and help us grow the NONI and go on tour with us. We'd love that. So guys, I'm going to open up to questions. Let's do 5 minutes of questions. Okay, guys, I am going through the questions here. So we've got some friendly people saying hello and good day to the NONI, so hello back. One of the first questions is can we offer this if we are not licensed? So you definitely have to have the appropriate licensing for wherever you're based out of. So let me give you an example. You are a broker in California, you've got an NMLS, you can actually do business in Cali, and then I can open up all those states for you. There's a few states that are tough. I think Arizona, Utah, and Florida may require some NMLS licensing. Everything else is open. Guys, New York is coming soon, so we're really excited for that. But as far as, say you're in Colorado and you have an LLC and that's all Colorado requires, then you're okay. But if you are sitting in a state and your LLC is in that state and you are just a loan officer or you don't have a broker's license, no, you would not be able to originate. All right, when will Michigan be online? Whatever states aren't listed there, guys, we haven't started our second tranche of release, so we'll have to touch base. But Michigan right now, I don't know that it's on the horizon. What I'd like you to do is email your AE immediately and ask them about Michigan, and we'll get to our head of compliance and get you an answer today. So what is a cash out letter? So if you have a refinance cash out for a NONI, and that cash out letter has to state that it's for business purposes only. So if you start to get into that the cash out is for, your daughter's college tuition, or you want to build a pool in your primary, or you want to pay off a second on your primary, all that is consumer use, and then we would be violating TRID. So we don't allow any consumer use. Cash out for consumer use is not allowed. So keep that in mind. So that deal wouldn't work out for us. Cash out, can it be used for improvements to subject property? Absolutely, because we only do non-owners. So as long as it's not cash out to improve your primary, yes, you can do that. As far as Ohio, you'll have to check with your AE on that state list. I don't want to confuse everybody with the PowerPoint, but we will find out. If you could email your AE, I'm also Liz at theLender.com. Go ahead and send that question in on Ohio, and we'll find out when and if we have plans to go into that state. So it looks like somebody is asking a question about independent LOs. I assume the question's cut off. So I assume that means, can I originate if I'm an independent LO? And hopefully I explained that you have to have an LLC in certain states, and you'll have to seek your counsel to find that out. I know that Cali, Florida, Arizona, and Utah, if you are based out of there, and let's say, you have to be an NMLS broker. All the other states are open to just LLCs. You do not have to, here's the question, do we need to show that our business is registered to do business in that state, right, as a foreign corporation? No. We had originally thought that that was something we were going to do, and obviously our owners are amazing, and we sought counsel, and we don't need to verify that, but that is up to you. So you need to make sure that you check with that you're compliant. So it's asking, on an investment purchase for foreign nationals, how much down and what is the largest loan? So 65 LTV, so 35 down, 65 LTV is our max LTV, and $1 million loan amount is the max that we'll do for foreign national. Can cash out be used to pay off loans that are related to business purpose? You would have to document that. I would say that just explaining on the letter, because there is no debt ratio on these loans, they are no income loans. So there's really no reason to have to pay it off through the loan unless, you know, I have no idea why you would, but I would just put that you're paying off some business debt, and that would be sufficient. So let's not pay off credit cards or loans through the NONI. So will we do loan amounts over $3 million with low LTVs? If you have compensating factors with good reserves, low LTV, beautiful property, absolutely, you'll see us do exceptions over $3 million. Again, people are asking about Michigan, so please go ahead and email your AE, and Liz at theLender.com will get you an answer today. Indiana, please email your AE. We'll find out for you. All right, so it looks like somebody is asking, I'm licensed in California, and I will promote this program, but I'm in Kansas right now, and I'd like to use this for my own personal loan, I assume that's what you're asking. Do me a big favor, please email your AE, and Liz at theLender.com will get that question answered. I don't feel like I have sufficient information to understand that. If we have broker loans or loan officer loans, we will do those if that's your question on NONIs, but I want to see that the 1003, we're not asking for 1003s, but we do ask for a 3.2 file, right? And we transfer it into our own application. But when we get that 3.2 file, I cannot have a broker or loan officer originating their own loan. So keep that in mind. But I think you'll be okay in Kansas. So I am trying to read a question here. I can't see it. So guys, if I missed your question, I will get back to you. It looks like Mark Stone's asking a question, and I'm trying to figure out what that says there, but we'll get back to you because I can't read it. Can you do loans with us as TPO, lending in our name for brokers? So can I do correspondent? I am not set up for correspondent yet. We're growing fast. We plan on being one of the biggest non-QM players in the entire country, so I'm sure that's coming. I just don't have that now. So guys, I think those are all the questions that I have. If you have more, you're welcome to email us at any time. Reach out to your account executives. I actually work in the sales pit with all of the account executives here and speak to the remote ones all over the country. You have some of the top account executives and hardest working account executives I have ever seen in the industry, and I've been doing this for a while. So really proud of all of our guys. Excited to bring this NONI process to you. Get on it. Order your appraisals early after you do your quote. Let's get these loans closed for you in 5 to 7 days. I appreciate your time today. We're excited to make you a lot of money. Great one. Thank you, everybody.